Hello, friends. I am Dr. Prakash Makwana, Professor of Medicine at MPSA Medical Government Medical College, Jamnagar. And today's my topic of discussion is Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease was diagnosed or described by a British physician, James Parkinson, in year 1870, just by observing his few patients in his consultancy. Parkinson's disease is a clinical syndrome involving bradykinesia plus at least one of the following three features: tremors, rigidity, postural instability, and other non-motor symptoms. Parkinson's disease is the second most common age-related neurodegenerative disease after Alzheimer's disease. It is equally in both male and female and mostly seen in sixth decade but can be seen in fifth decade or earlier if it is due to genetic mutations. An expected approximate population with Parkinson disease in the world in year 2020 is 9 million patients. All patients with Parkinson disease have Parkinsonism, but not all patients with Parkinsonism have Parkinson's disease. Classification of the disease is first is primary Parkinsonism or paralysis agitans or Parkinson disease or idiopathic Parkinsonism, and secondary symptomatic Parkinson's disease. Just examples are post-encephalitic like post-encephalitis lethargica, exposure to toxins like MPTP, methyl phenyl tetrahydropyridine, manganese, carbon monoxide, or certain drugs like reserpine, phenothiazines, butorphenones, like including haloperidol, alpha-methyl dopa, and metoclopramide. An ischemic variety includes vascular Parkinsonism, tumors in the basal ganglia region, punch drunk syndrome in boxers, and infections like HIV and influenza. Parkinsonism plus is degenerative disorder with prominent additional neurological features. Is called Parkinsonism plus. Examples are progressive supranuclear palsy, multisystem atrophy, including which includes striatonigral degeneration, Shy-Drager syndrome, sporadic olivopontocerebellar atrophy, or diffuse Lewy body disease, Wilson's disease, Huntington's chorea in children. We will focus more on basic paralysis agitans or Parkinson's disease, which is a neurodegenerative disorder. Parkinson's plus are a group of a degenerative disorder that have additional neurological signs other than that of Parkinsonism. For example, multisystem atrophy includes variable combination of Parkinsonism plus poor response to levodopa, cerebellar, pyramidal, and autonomic degeneration. MSA encompasses three syndromes: a predominance of a Parkinsonism feature, MSA P subtype, Shy-Drager syndrome, and prominence of cerebellar ataxia, MSA-C subtype. Autonomic dysfunction results in urinary symptoms like urge incontinence and incomplete bladder emptying, erectile dysfunctions in male, and orthostatic hypotension and chronic constipation. Secondary Parkinsonism includes a group of disorders where etiological agents are identifiable. Pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease or paralysis agitans is a loss of pigmented cells and deposition of Lewy body in locus coeruleus followed by substantia nigra. This results in degeneration of nigrostrial pathway. These cells normally synthesize dopamine. And motor functions, there are loops between basal ganglia nuclei with corresponding motor area in the cerebral cortex. Globus pallidus and substantia nigra are the major output region of basal ganglia. The output of basal ganglia provide inhibitory tone to thalamus and brainstem neurons, which in turn connect to motor system in cerebral cortex and spinal cord. Any increase in output regions of basal ganglia is associated with paucity of movements or Parkinsonism, while decreased output results in movement facilitation and involuntary movements. That is also a feature of Parkinson's disease. In Parkinson's disease, dopamine degradation with loss of dopaminergic tone leads to increased firing from globus pallidus and substantia nigra and excessive inhibition of thalamus with reduced activation of cortical motor system, and there is a eventually development of all the clinical features of Parkinson's disease. With degradation of these cells, dopamine level in the striatum gets depleted, and this is the major chemical pathology in Parkinson's disease. Degeneration of non-dopaminergic neurons also occurs, but it usually occurs later in the course of the disease. The loss of non-dopaminergic neurons contribute to the non-motor features. Now, clinical features of Parkinson's disease. Before discussing clinical features, there are certain epidemiological and observational facts about Parkinson's disease which remains yet to be established on clinical trial ground, but it has been observed that Parkinson's disease has been seen more in patients, people who are having exposure to pesticides or who are having rural living, in farming, in people who drinking well water. Same time, two environmental factors are recognized to lower the risk of Parkinson's disease, like cigarette smoking and coffee drinking. Also, less incidence of Parkinson's disease has been found in persons who are taking NSAIDs for a longer periods, like ibuprofen or diclofenac for osteoarthritis or some other problems, or calcium channel blockers as an antihypertensive therapy. Parkinson's disease affects both sexes equally, starts usually during the sixth decade and later. Occasionally, it may appear during the fifth decade or earlier whenever there is a genetic mutation. Initial, initial symptoms may be easy tiredness or muscular aches, usually unilaterally. Mild slowness of activity or depression may be present. Later, classical combination of tremor, rigidity, and hypokinesia appear. Tremors, it is classically tremor at rest and is a compound occurring at wrist and fingers on one side first, that decreases with the action. At times, action or postural tremor may also be present. Same. Tremors may also occur in head, jaw, or lower extremities whenever there is an advance in the disease process. Second most is rigidity. Hypertonia is due to rigidity in the Parkinson's disease. When tremor is present, it adds a cogwheeling character to the basic lead pipe hypertonia. It's called cogwheel rigidity. It is unilateral in the beginning of the disease. Hypokinesia or akinesia, it is difficulty in initiating the motor act. This results in delay or slowness of motor act after intention to start it. It is the paucity or slowness of movements. Some physicians consider hypokinesia under the term bradykinesia, when it is defined as a slowness of initiation of voluntary movement with progression to reduction in the speed and amplitude of repetitive actions. There is reduced movement in the acts like getting up, adjusting postures, and walking, etc. Two common features are reduced arm span on one side, which is often misinterpreted by patients and physicians as an orthopedic disorder, and repetitive supination and pronation of the hands. Face looks like blank and expressionless. It is called mask-like face. Amplitude of writing declines near the end of a sentence. And there is a disturbed postural reflexes occurs about 5 years after the onset of disease, results in stooped or bent posture with tendency to fall easily and difficulty in maintaining equilibrium while sitting or standing. Muscle strength and tendon reflexes are normal, glabellar tap becomes positive, primitive reflexes gets released, and speech is low volume and it is monotonous. And it is shown in the animation below. Micrographia is present with a tendency to tall, tail off at the end of a line. Stance is stooped, gait becomes shuffling, associated arm swing is absent, and turning about becomes a slow and laborious. With advancing disease, patient assumes fixed, flexed postures, remains curled in bed and unable to move. Death occurs due to infection like bronchopneumonia and septicemia. Other non-motor features of Parkinson's disease includes autonomic dysfunction, which includes orthostatic hypotension, urinary incontinence, impotence, constipation, sialorrhea, and anhidrosis. Neuropsychiatric symptoms which includes depression, psychosis, dementia, anxiety, and panic attacks. Sensory problems include reduced smell, pain, painful paresthesia, sleep disorder which includes insomnia, daytime somnolence, and restless legs. Exclusion criteria for Parkinson's disease, which includes repeated strokes with stepwise progression or repeated head injury, antipsychotic or dopamine depleting drug consumption, definite encephalitis, and or ocular crisis, more than one affected relative, strictly unilateral features after 3 years of onset. Other neurological features like supranuclear Graves' palsy, cerebellar signs, early severe autonomic involvement, Babinski's positive sign, or early severe dementia with disturbance of language and memory or praxis. Exposure to non-neurotoxin, presence of cerebral tumor or communicating hydrocephalus on neuroimaging. The following table shows a difference of between the clinical features of Parkinson's disease and Parkinson plus syndrome. And mainly, one can say is Parkinson's disease has got pattern of onset is asymmetrical, rigidity more in peripheral parts, tremors are resting mainly, and associated features like autonomic dysfunction, dementia, cerebellar signs, pyramidal signs are usually absent, and there is a very good response to levodopa therapy, and progression is slow. While in Parkinson plus syndrome, usually symmetrical onset is there, rigidity is more in axial parts rather than peripheral parts, tremors absent or atypical, and associated features of dysautonomia, early dementia, cerebellar signs, pyramidal signs are often present, and response to levodopa carbidopa is very poor or minimum, and progress is relatively rapid. So, diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, it is purely clinical and there is no definitive diagnostic test to confirm Parkinson's disease. The four cardinal features of Parkinson's disease can be grouped under acronym TRAP: tremors at rest, rigidity, akinesia or bradykinesia, and postural instability. If clinical features are not strictly within the syndrome or the disease occurs earlier in life, Wilson's disease will have to be ruled out by estimating serum copper and ceruloplasmin and urinary copper levels. Symptoms that suggest a diagnosis other than a Parkinson's disease include lack of response to levodopa, hallucinations, prominent and early dementia, early postural instability, severe and early autonomic dysfunction, upward gaze paralysis, and involuntary movements other than tremors. CT scan or MRI is required if these additional signs are present. In atypical cases, PET and SPECT are also indicated. Then the management. Management of Parkinson's disease is often a combined thing, and you need a combination of therapies, medical therapy, pharmacological therapy, and rehabilitation therapy also. So if any offending drug was used or drug is the cause, it should be withdrawn from the treatment. Patient should be seen by a physiotherapist, occupational therapist to help him live well with the disability by modifying home surroundings intelligently and by physician. This feature shows the salient features of Parkinson's disease and postural changes. Now it comes to the drug therapy. Drug therapy first anticholinergics. These drugs were used in past. This includes dihexyphenidate, benzaxole, and orphenatrine. Are useful in controlling tremors, but do not help in other disturbances or motor symptoms. They can cause urinary retention, worsen glaucoma, and cause confusion in elderly. Hence, they are rarely used as a first-line drugs unless patient has severe tremors. They should be avoided if the patient is above the age of 65 years. Second consideration is amantadine. It is a potentially antiviral drug and potentiates endogenous dopamine uh, receptors. Presynaptic is a presynaptic agonist and has mild anti-Parkinsonian effect. It is useful in early onset of the disease or in conjunction with levodopa therapy, carbidopa therapy when there is a motor dyskinesia. Important adverse effects of this drug include psychosis, edema, and libido reticularis in the lower limbs, and withdrawal syndrome and dependence has also been reported. So this drug is also very rarely used. Drug is started at low dose 50 milligram twice or thrice a day. Requirement is titrated for the frequency per day and strength per dose slowly. Increments are made once in a 2 weeks. Full therapeutic effect may take 4 to 8 weeks. Maximum dose is 800 to 1000 milligram of levodopa per day with peripheral decarboxyl inhibitor. At the higher doses, dose-related side effects like dyskinesis and hallucinations can occur frequently. Over a period of time, after 3 to 5 years of therapy with progression of disease, control becomes poor and fluctuation in symptoms occur frequently. These fluctuations include wearing off effect like transient deterioration shortly before the next dose is due or peak dose dyskinesis, appearance of a coriform movements of the trunk, arm and neck during the period of maximum therapeutic efficacy of dopaminergic drug, and the on-off phenomena, abrupt and transient deterioration occurring frequently without an obvious relation to the dosage schedule. Catechol-methyl transferase inhibitor drugs are useful to reduce this response fluctuation. And for dyskinesias, amantadine, dopamine receptor agonists, and COMT inhibitors are useful. Second important drug is dopamine receptor agonist. These are the postsynaptic dopamine agonist, which may be classified as ergot-derived drugs like bromocriptine, pergolide, and cabergoline, or non-ergot-derived apomorphine, pramipexole, ropinirole, and rotigotine. Ergot-derived dopamine agonists should not be used as a first-line treatment for Parkinson's disease as they may have produce moderate to severe cardiac valvulopathy and serosal fibrosis, either pleural, pericardial, or retroperitoneal. Non-ergot dopamine agonists, which are second generation, are preferable to ergot dopamine agonists and are used as an alternative or an addition to levodopa therapy. All types of dopamine agonists can produce impulse controlling disorders like pathological gambling, binge eating, hypersexuality, and daytime somnolence, and patient falls in sleep at any time during the activity, while driving, while working, which is a serious thing and restricting the use of these compounds. However, apomorphine has been used as a continuous sub-Q infusion or sublingual dose to come over the side effects of levodopa carbidopa therapy, particularly on-off phenomena and over dyskinesia. Pramipexole and ropinirole, these two drugs are used orally, while rotigotine is used as a long-acting transdermal patch. But these drugs are not effective as levodopa, but can be used for open phenomena or as an adjuvant to levodopa carbidopa therapy. More effective in young patients with severe disturbing dyskinesia. Then another group of drug is monoamine oxidase B enzyme inhibitors. Heligilin and rasagiline are the monoamine B oxidase B inhibitor and have dual role to play in the therapy of Parkinson's. They reduce the metabolism of dopamine and thereby reduce the dose and frequency and administration of levodopa at all stages. Recent evidence shows that they can slow down the degeneration of substantia nigra and are recommended to be used in all patients from early stages of the disease. Heligilin in the dose of 5 mg twice a day or rasagiline 1 mg once a day. However, they can produce serious side effects and drug interaction, but can be used in adjuvant to levodopa carbidopa therapy when there is a failure of control of motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease. These drugs are blocking the central dopamine metabolism and increases synaptic concentration of neurotransmitter. And this drug also prevents Parkinson's due to MPTP toxicity. Another group of drug is catechol-O-methyl transferase inhibitors. This category of drugs includes tolcapone and entacapone that enhance the benefits of levodopa therapy by reducing conversion of levodopa to 3-O-methyl dopa, which normally competes with the levodopa for an active carrier mechanism. This increases the availability of levodopa in the brain. These agents are useful for patients with response to fluctuations of levodopa carbidopa therapy. Main value of these drugs is to control motor symptoms and motor fluctuations in patients with advanced Parkinson's disease. Rivastigmine may be considered in patients with significant dementia. And last surgery, it has been tried since long, but stereotactic thalamotomy, which includes ventrolateral nucleus of thalamus, used to be performed in the past, is largely given up due to excellent response to drugs. And deep brain stimulation in the subthalamic nucleus and globus pallidus interma has been used with success in severe disease. Thank you.